So at 6 o'clock, start calling the meeting to order. We only have one adjustment to the agenda. That's the letters of law. We'll take that off. So do we have a motion to approve the agenda with one adjustment?
So moved.
Second.
Any further questions? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor of approving the agenda with the one adjustment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstained? Okay. Public comment. This is where I come out and let the public know that's here in the room and virtually, if there is anyone. This is your only opportunity to speak publicly in this meeting. Only time you'll be recognized. Anything once it's closed, you will not be recognized by the board. So is there any public comment? No public comment. Okay, on to routine business. We have consent agenda items, minutes from the emergency board meeting on the 16th of January, board meeting on the 12th, social emotional wellness safety committee, curriculum committee meetings on January 12th. We have a motion to approve those all at once.
So moved.
Second.
Any further comments? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of approving those different minutes all at once, say aye.
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 Opposed or abstained? Okay, board orders. Stephanie.
I have reviewed all the board orders that are listed on the back of the agenda, and everything looks good and in order, and I'd like to make a motion to approve the board orders.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further questions, comments? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor of approving the board orders, say aye.
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 Opposed or abstained? Okay. Legislative updates. Oh, you can take this one with you, right?
Probably the best, so people can hear me.
Sure.
Grab your card. Thank you. All right, so we're off to a busy start to the legislative session, so there's a few things that I do want to highlight for everybody. First, I think hopefully you've all seen it, but on the 10th, almost a week ago, the VSBA emailed to you all its legislative report number 1, detailing everything that's happened so far. I'm not going to drain everything, but I'll touch on a few highlights. So most recently, we've seen Representative Peter Condon's starting point redistricting map, and that actually puts us together. I call it starting point because it's really meant to drive some conversations. It's not really well-formed bill yet, and it's really just driving some discussions. But what it does is it has us as one of 27 different operating school districts in the state that generally target between 2,000 and 4,000 people. So it's a little smaller than some of the other maps that were discussed during the discussions around the redistricting task force. This would actually put us with Memorial South in terms of the towns it represents. So about 3,200 students, I believe, combined, according to the state map they have, the map builder tool. These are draft concepts that they expect to expand and potentially require participation of BOCES. Those are the shared education services we talked about before. And this is important because it's really a starting point for discussions. And it's seen as a bit of a compromise. Governor Phil Scott's indicated he wants to see maps. So this is a map that's going to drive some discussions. So I'm sure we'll have to weigh in on that as a district, as a board at some point. We're not quite there yet probably, but something we'll pay very close attention to. The next thing I will highlight is H842. It's a very important bill around school employee health benefits. And what that does is it restructures the Health Benefits Commission. It caps the actuarial value of benefit plans. Probably most importantly, it changes arbitration flexibility. So where the current rule around the the health benefits and the commission is it's a winner-take-all system when it comes to arbitration, and this would give the arbitrator a bit more flexibility to pick provisions from, the employer commission or the employee commission. It's not a winner-take-all. And it also unifies HRA and HSA administration to a single administrator, so it's more simple from an administrative standpoint. And this personally is something that the VSBA has been advocating for years, and it's good to see that it's finally getting some traction in the legislature, because this is, you'll hear it tonight, this is one of our biggest cost drivers for the Vermont Education Fund. So it's really important to, bend the cost curve when it relates to healthcare. We talked a little bit last time around S220, that's still out there. That's around education spending caps that was introduced by Senate President Pro Tem Bill Baruth. That caps per pupil spending growth for 28 and 29. It's a tiered approach that allows high spenders to get lower growth caps, but there's a minimum allowable 3% growth percentage baked into that bill. And this is really kind of viewed as a temporary tourniquet to relieve fiscal pressures until we get to Act 73. One new bill that's been introduced in committee is H640. That adds voting student members to the board. It gives each board one student representative for each high school grade, totaling 4 student members. And it also gives boards with middle level grades, so grades 7 and 8, would include one non-voting student member per grade. These student members would serve full terms that are equivalent to other board members, and they would be appointed by the superintendent following a board approved process. So really this bill is intended to give students a more meaningful voice on school boards, and in some cases actually some voting rights, which is very interesting. And lastly, I'll highlight S313, which is Career Technical Education Transformation. That's really just the intent of that is a statement of legislative intent to provide a vision for universal access to CTE for all Vermont students. So the AOE has presented the idea of creating a statewide administrative structure to oversee CTE rather than leaving governance to local districts. But this bill has been introduced and looks to transform the state's career technical education system by establishing a vision for universal student access to CTE programming, promoting flexible delivery models, aligning programs with current and projected workforce needs, redesigning funding to remove participation barriers, strengthening adult CTE pathways, and improving governance and program quality with the intent that these priorities guide future policy and funding decisions once the language transitions from intent to detailed reforms. So stay tuned on that one. That's really just right now just a statement of legislative intent. And that's kind of the key things that I'm seeing out there at this point in time. All right.
Kim, do you want to grab the mic?
Good evening. My name is Kim Hunt. I'm Director of Curriculum Instruction and Assessment here at Lemoyle North Supervisory Union, and we're going to go over some data. This is our academic growth data. That means we're comparing how much growth our students had to other students who took the same test.
In the nation.
In the nation, yes. So what we can see here in this top one, this is reading with FastBridge. That's a test we give. And we can see that 66% of our students exceeded the growth of their peers. And then with math, we can see that 71% of our students grew more than their peers.
In the elementaries.
And those are the elementary schools, yes.
I'm sure folks have this question. Could you just give us like maybe a brief synopsis on how we should think about these graphs? Specifically, like where does this, is the
So-
71% explicit? Where does that show up? It's not.
It's all of it combined,
Got it.
and we had someone combine that. So if we look here, for instance, 51 and 22, that's 73% of students met or exceeded more than their peers. So we can see here, like 22% of students were in the, here it is, 85th to 100th percentile for growth.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for asking. Yeah. This is now the high school, and this is NWA MAP scores. And we can see in reading, 67% demonstrated average to high growth. And in the math, 64% met or exceeded the growth expectations. We can go to the next slide. Okay, and this is about our AP classes at our high school. 30% of our 11th and 12th graders take AP exams, which is a really pretty incredible number. And we had 85% of students scored a 3 or above in 2025, and 3 is passing on that test. There are 106 course seats filled out this year for AP classes. So if a student took AP Bio and they took AP Statistics, that's 2 course seats. Yeah, and this number's grown from 12 to 47, the participation, the number of students participating. So, yeah, that's all our exciting data.
Do we have some numbers on how many AP students actually get college credit? Because you don't get college credit for a 3 in most schools.
Yeah, I can answer. It depends on the school. So some schools will accept a 3 and give students college credit, while some will not. They'll only take a 4 or a 5. So it really depends on the school, and it varies, like even just within Vermont. Like UVM, I think, and it varies on the content area. So like they may require a higher score for English than they would a social studies AP exam. So you really have to look school by school.
My daughter went to a college that didn't take a 5. You didn't have to repeat the class, but like if she took AP Bio and scored a 5, you didn't have to then take Bio 101, you got to start at a higher level, but they didn't accept the credit. So it is really different in every school.
I would just like to say this is great news because our students 5 years ago were making 33% growth in, English, math, and even worse in science. So this is huge. This is huge. You're going to hear this again at 7 o'clock.
Okay, policy review. We have C9.
So this is the model local wellness policy. It was introduced as a first reading last month, and it doesn't really need to actually be a first or second reading because it's the same policy. The only thing that we're updating is that Kelly, who replaced Carol Kent, is the person who meets with the parents, students, staff, nutritionists, nurses, around nutrition guidelines and physical exercise guidelines. So that is the only difference. It's not what we're doing, it's the person now in charge of it. So I would ask that this policy is accepted again. This will be an annual acceptance.
So we have a motion to accept it.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor of approving C9, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstained? Okay. C12.
Meal charge policy no longer exists as a policy under the VSBA, not even recommended, not even suggested, not required, it was taken off. So this is the second time we're looking at this. It has been absorbed, or meal policies have been absorbed in other policies we don't charge. So this policy goes away.
So we should be all set with that.
Well, we would ask that the board remove the policy.
Do we have a motion to remove the policy? Seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor of approving policy C9 or C12, say aye.
Aye.
Removing it.
Opposed or abstained? Okay. On to C70.
Jeremy?
Yeah, we're hoping to just have this as a first reading. We're hoping to have this as a first reading, but we're hoping to introduce policy in regards to 4500 proper use of restraint and seclusion. We're introducing this just to help school teams who need to employ this procedure to better protect both students and staff moving forward.
As first reading, so we'll take it up. Okay. Is there any other business? Do you have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, we are adjourned.